Well, it's my pleasure now to welcome and introduce Mr. Graham van Hoff, who is the Executive Vice President of Shell Chemicals. Mr. van Hoff joined Shell in 1984 and has worked with the company in the US and throughout Europe. Previous to his current role, he was Shell International's Director of IT Strategy and Applications Development, where he led the project to restructure IT across the Shell Group. And more recently, he held the position of Chairman of Shell UK and Executive Vice President of CO2 and Alternative Energies. So please join me in welcoming Mr. van Hoff to the stage. Thank you.
So thanks Diala. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's great to be back in the Gulf, and I'm delighted to be speaking at this prestigious event. It's perhaps less great to be following Andre's inspiring talk. It's a bit more challenging to follow that. But Andre actually produced a nice segue to one of the things I want to talk about, which is that all of us recognize that today the global energy system is in a period of substantial transition. A global growing population will need much more energy, and from cleaner sources, to lower carbon emissions and to reduce the impact on the environment. Here in the Middle East too, the reality is clear. Already one of the world's most water scarce and dry areas, conditions could become hotter and drier, and many communities live in flood-prone coastal areas which are vulnerable to rising sea levels. By 2040, energy demand could increase by over a third compared with 2014, as illustrated by the recent International Energy Agency's new policy scenario. Today, oil, gas, and coal account for over 80% of the primary energy supply worldwide. In the IEA's scenario, oil and gas is still expected to provide about 50% of primary energy in 2040. The future is uncertain, but scenarios show that more gas and less oil will be used in the global energy mix into that future. At the same time, we expect dramatic changes in the types of energy consumed over the decades ahead. Renewable energy technologies have an indispensable role to play in enabling a cleaner energy future, but they're going to need help along the way. This transition will require a combination of hydrocarbons and renewables to meet all energy types in the future. Of course, the world around us is always changing. The financial crisis of 2007-08 had a detrimental global impact. More recently, oil and natural gas prices have fallen significantly. Brent crude, of course, has halved since its peak in 2014 of about $100. Alternative energies, though, are becoming increasingly competitive. Solar energy has come a dramatically long way, from an average cost per megawatt hour coming down from about $300 per megawatt hour in 2009 to around $60 in 2015. These challenges are having an impact on the Middle East and its petrochemicals industry. As an integrated energy company, it poses questions for us as to where to participate in the energy system of the future. Our response is in areas where we can have leadership in technology, integration, or our existing portfolios. For example, the use of more natural gas, and in particular as a replacement for coal, or carbon capture and storage technology to reduce CO2 emissions from power and industrial sectors. And as we know, and we saw illustrated in Andre's talk, petrochemicals plays a vital role in tackling some of the global challenges ahead. For the longer term, Shell's new energies business is actively exploring opportunities where commercial value can be made clear, leveraging our core skills in B2C and B2B marketing, in trading, and in deep technology. Despite uncertainties in the energy transition and the global economy, in the global chemicals industry, we expect to see sustained long-term growth. Petrochemicals, as we've heard illustrated many times in the past couple of days, is the fastest growing sector in the hydrocarbon demand area, with annual growth of 3.7% in the last 15 years. And we see a similar picture in the future for ethylene demand, which is expected to increase by a total of 30 million tons to around 200 by 2025. Inevitably, the global petrochemicals industry is seeing change too. We've seen transformations in the global feedstock mix and rising competition from US petrochemical production. So that question arises the question as to where the petrochemicals, where we will compete with petrochemicals in the future, from low-price gas or from naphtha, and even to bio-based chemicals. Here in the Middle East, the petrochemical industry has seen substantial growth over the past 30 years. In the early 1980s, the GCC petrochemical industry expanded rapidly. In 2015, annual production hit 145 million tons, more than double its level in 2005. By 2015, export revenues generated by the GCC reached almost $50 billion annually. And I think we all recognize that this is a tremendous achievement. Saudi Arabia continues to be the biggest contributor, accounting for some 60% of the region's chemicals production. But we cannot forget that countries like Iraq and Iran have a clear future potential. At the same time, the low oil price puts pressure on the industry's profitability, on operating rates, and on capital spending. Domestic gas production is expected to fall in many countries in this region over the next decades or so. The region is adding new capacity for export, with most of it going to Asia. But then we can compare this to projects in China, which today run with significantly lower capital and fixed costs, and in a region that is seeking self-sufficiency. So going forward, these projects will set the pricing structure for most petrochemicals products around the world. The industry will need to respond to the changing global environment through greater efficiency, stronger integration, diversification of feedstock sources and products. The development of skilled staff and an emphasis on scientific and technological research are other priority areas. Since 1980, Shell has played an important role in the regional growth story. Starting with Sadaf, the Saudi petrochemical company, our joint venture in Saudi Arabia. Our strong partnership with SABIC has helped Sadaf become a leading player on the global market. And we continue to focus on select growth opportunities in chemicals in the Middle East. In 2015, Shell signed a heads of agreement with the government of Iraq for the development of an integrated petrochemical complex in the south of the country, which we continue to mature together. And last month, we signed a letter of intent with the National Petroleum Company in Iran to explore potential areas of cooperation there. As part of Shell's recent strategy refresh, which was announced in June 2016, chemicals has become one of the company's two major areas for growth, together with deep water upstream operations. In chemicals, Shell has had a solid financial performance over the past several years, and we continue to see strong market fundamentals in chemicals. However, Shell Chemicals seeks to limit its investment to where we have fundamental competitive advantage, along with advanced technology, portfolio robustness, and a diversity of product market exposures. We do not believe that investment in undifferentiated positions will be rewarded in the long term. Since the start of the millennium, we have streamlined our integrated portfolio from 133 facilities to just 16, focused on building on our core competencies and advantaged feedstocks. Our global portfolio now offers a strategic regional spread, a balanced portfolio to both gas and liquids, and the opportunity to capture a range of different value chains. And this allows us to create stable margins in what can and likely will continue to be volatile market environments. We draw strength from being a part of an integrated energy company with shared infrastructure, access to a variety of feedstocks, alongside extensive manufacturing, processing, trading, and marketing expertise, and our reputation as a strong partner. At Shell, we provide substantial investment in technology. We develop technologies, processes, and catalysts that enable us and our joint ventures to compete strongly in the marketplace. Take Shell's Omega technology, the world's first entirely catalytic process for the production of ethylene glycol. This innovative process achieves a conversion efficiency of over 99% compared to around 90% for conventional processes. It delivers the lowest unit cost, lowest use of ethylene per ton of glycol in the industry, using about 20% less steam and producing 30% less wastewater than a traditional plant. Another example is Shell's leading SMPO technology, which we employ at our own sites and our joint ventures. It co-produces styrene monomer and propylene oxide at 20 to 30% higher energy efficiency compared to conventional methods. We also use Shell's advanced higher olefins process to manufacture high-quality linear alpha and internal olefins. This process allows us to produce a broad range of products, and Shell's innovative catalyst system gives us a competitive advantage. These are important advances. But we also continue to focus on improving process technologies in order to produce high-quality products at lower cost, using less feedstock and energy. And we are piloting several next-generation processes that will be commercially available soon. For example, at our site in Singapore, we're operating a 500-ton per year demonstration unit to manufacture the chemical intermediate diphenyl carbonate, which is the key intermediate to production of polycarbonates. With this innovation, we have demonstrated a significant reduction in energy usage whilst achieving excellent purity levels. In Qatar, we have developed Pearl GTL, Shell's fully integrated upstream-downstream joint venture with Qatar Petroleum. It is the world's largest gas-to-liquids plant. Pearl products have also enabled us to create gas-based, high-purity paraffinic fluids and solvents for customers around the world. The GTL solvents contain very low amounts of impurities, and they reduce environmental impact due to their low aromatic and naphthenic content. In recent years, feedstock sources and products have become more valuable in areas we didn't expect it before. And that is why we've been working hard on new opportunities to diversify our portfolio. Recently, we started construction of our expansion product at our chemicals manufacturing facility in Geismar, Louisiana, making it the largest alpha olefins producer in the world. This new capacity brings total production to 1.3 million tons of alpha olefins, so we are well placed to respond to the increased global demand for those products. And together with our partner CNOOC, we are expanding our existing petrochemical complex in China. It will become the largest petrochemicals complex for Shell globally and likely the largest in China. The project will more than double the combined capacity of our joint venture to around 6 million tons of product per year. Over 70% of the construction is complete, and we expect startup in the fourth quarter of next year. And in June this year, we also announced the final investment decision for the construction of a petrochemical facility in Pennsylvania in the US. Main construction will start in about 12 months, and commercial production is expected to begin early in the next decade. This facility will be fed by ethane from the lowest cost shale basin in North America and will produce 1.6 million tons per year of polyethylene. We are the only international energy company in this location. It's a location where 70% of North American polyethylene customers are within a 700-mile radius. And as a result, the complex and its customers will benefit from significantly shorter supply chains compared to the US Gulf Coast. We are proud to be at the forefront of developing advanced chemical facilities around the world. These are projects with competitive edge, underpinned by a low-cost structure, increased efficiency, and proprietary Shell technology. Ladies and gentlemen, the world around us is changing, and so is the energy system. While we cannot predict future energy trends, Shell is responding to the changing environment, how we tackle the energy and climate challenges, and how we refresh our chemicals portfolio. We believe several components are required for success. These are advanced technologies, integration, diverse portfolios, and strong operational safety. We also need strong partnerships with other oil and gas companies, resource holders, suppliers, and customers to play that role to help society to meet demand in more sustainable ways. The chemical industry's growth story will continue, and the Middle East's chemical industry will play a very significant role, but it will need to diversify to face the challenges ahead. At Shell, we will continue investing in our existing assets to increase their capacity and their efficiency, and we will pursue options to invest in building new large-scale facilities to capitalize on our expertise in technology and building mega projects. The future of our industry depends on all of these things. But let us all be clear that strong performance in health, safety, and environment is vital. We all have the responsibility to make sure that no one gets hurt in the course of their work, and that we minimize our impact on the environment and the communities in which we operate. Thank you.